This is the secret weapon of the main intelligence directorate of Ukraine. Unique drones that help hunt at night for very challenging and difficult Russian targets and elusive ones.
This is a drone for striking pinpoint targets. It is capable of destroying armored vehicles, small fortifications, and groups of enemy personnel.
In approximately a year of its use, Ukraine reported destroyed targets worth more than $10 billion. These include the latest Russian electronic warfare systems, advanced radar stations, oil depots, weapon storage facilities, and more.
The Sych drone system has indeed been used by us for a considerably long time, and it has proven to be an extremely reliable and deadly weapon.
The Sych, developed by domestic engineers, has been in service with the mobile groups of the Gurmo for many months, but this has only recently become known. The intelligence agreed to lift the veil on what some of Ukraine's best units are working with, what these drones are capable of, how far they can fly, and what targets they can destroy. And most importantly, why the GUR chose to rely on domestic rather than Western technologies. About this, right now in the arsenal. It is also worth mentioning that the OWL is quite versatile. Drone. At the beginning of the war, the developers wanted to make it an analog of Russian reconnaissance drones. However, our engineers went much further. As a result, the drone turned out to be both strike-capable and reconnaissance, and in some cases, it can even deliver necessary supplies to our troops at remote positions.
At the beginning of its creation, the Sych drone was designed as a reconnaissance unit. Over time, it was upgraded and began to be used as a strike drone. This is how its effectiveness was increased. In particular, my friends from the 30s who were in the Sych unit, the 38th Marine Brigade, used this UAV to guide both our marine artillery and adjacent units onto targets, making it much more effective in destroying the enemy. Due to the flight range of this drone and the ability to gather intelligence far beyond the line of direct combat resistance. These drones can provide targets for HIMARS and other systems that can be used at longer distances.
But the Sych unit of the Ukrainian armed forces acquired it relatively recently. The pioneers were the fighters of the main intelligence directorate of Ukraine. They were the first to start taking this bird on missions and provided the initial feedback on its performance to the engineers.
The Sych command system has been extensively and effectively used by us for quite a long time, and it has proven to be a reliable and lethal weapon. We certainly use them in absolutely all regions where our units operate, and absolutely everywhere it has demonstrated high effectiveness.
The Sych began its flights at a distance of less than 50 kilometers. It was there that the search and destruction of enemy targets took place. But over time, the developers managed to almost double the flight range, thanks to which flights of the Sych have already been recorded in both directions at a distance of about 70 kilometers.
Its operational range is 60-70 kilometers, depending on the modification, and it is not entirely reconnaissance. That is its parallel function. Initially, it is an attack combat drone. It has a payload capacity of up to 4 kilograms, and it operates as follows. When reconnaissance data is obtained, satellite images, and a decision is made to use the Sych for its intended purpose, then the operational team equips it with ammunition and sends it along a pre-planned route.
At the same time, the Sych has demonstrated incredible resistance to Russian electronic warfare systems, allowing it to approach enemy positions almost unhindered.
It is equipped with not one but even 2 protected modules. These are 4-channel antennas. And it has information that is located in the autopilot module. This information is analyzed. There are specific operational algorithms that block false data the enemy tries to input regarding coordinates and altitude. It is resistant to this.
This was primarily achieved because during flight, the pilot has virtually minimal communication with the drone. It flies along a pre-selected route and strikes a predetermined target. But this also offers several advantages for the fighters.
It flies indeed independently, unlike Western counterparts that operate on radio communication and mostly fly during the daytime. It flies autonomously in a completely automated manner, allowing the crew to safely move away from the launch position, abuzz, and avoid danger.
Here, it primarily concerns the retaliatory strikes of Russian drones. However, recent improvements to the drone allow fighters to hit targets deep in the rear without risking exposure to mortar or artillery fire.
The fact that with the drone you don't need to operate directly from combat formations. Because we have a decent range from the launch point to the target point. If our target is not too deep, it can retreat further into the territory to avoid risking the crew from fire from the same mortars.
And now, about the targets. I repeat, in just over a year, thanks to the drone, they have been destroyed to the tune of $10 billion. This includes high-tech military equipment like radars, the latest Russian armored vehicles, and millions in damages to the Kremlin, from endless explosions at the occupiers' oil depots.
If we are talking about some fortification structures, then that's not its task. It can hit armored vehicles as it is equipped with different types of munitions, including anti-tank grenades. It has two mounts underneath to which munitions are attached, and it drops them synchronously according to the ballistic calculator installed there. These are warehouses, and these are concentrations of personnel. If we have intelligence data, we deploy it.
Meanwhile, the fighter's arsenal already has plenty of stories about unique operations.
We received intelligence data and sent the Owl for deployment. Then, after its return, since it operates autonomously, we cannot observe where it is, what it is doing, and so on. But when it returns, we extract the data, watch the video, and see whether the target was hit or not, and what other targets it saw along its path. And so the target was not hit. Since the intelligence data, if we are talking about satellite images, reaches us with a delay, and by the time the Owl reached the location of the radar station, under the ice it was no longer there. But a tent with personnel was detected. Therefore, another Owl was sent, which successfully dropped the munition.
Well, most importantly, the next day the radar station under the ice was discovered again and was finally finished off by the arrival of the Owl. The cost of this radar station is 700 million rubles or more, $5 billion.
This is a highly advanced drone for striking pinpoint targets. It is capable of destroying armored objects, small fortifications, as well as groups of enemy personnel. The main intelligence directorate is directly engaged in combat operations, and this is a tool through which we can save the lives of both our fighters and our people. Because they simply won't have to face the enemy one-on-one. The more there will be, the more such equipment there is, the fewer shooting battles there will be.
It is important to note that by destroying Russian radars and electronic warfare systems, Sych allows operators of simpler drones to work, giving them an entire sector for several days to search for and destroy targets.
Since it destroys radar stations, air defense systems, and in a very highly effective manner clears the way for other strike means, which are already kamikaze, thus creating a corridor.
So why did the GUA choose Sych specifically? The management also answered this question. It's all banal, simple. It's Ukrainian. There are no disruptions in its supply. We are not dependent on Western partners who decide how many such UAVs to send and where they will fly. And most importantly, the GUR fighters are in constant contact with the developers who upgrade the drone at the first request, sending our fighters increasingly advanced weapons time and again.
I believe that we must primarily defend our technological innovations. Maximizing their use will allow us to improve production and enhance technical and tactical characteristics, because both weaknesses and strengths will manifest in practice.
Did you like this video? Then don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to our new Arsenal channel. The link is in the description below the video.